Good morning. So I was doing stuff from home this morning, haven't made it into work. Seems like the consensus is earlier in the morning is better. So from now on, I'm going to do my best to go back to going to more around, 5 o'clock, 5:30, that type of thing. You might hear some music in the background. My wife is on the treadmill, and so she's got her music playing in the house. We're up and rolling, been up and rolling, did yoga this morning. Always start your day with some type of movement. That's always a great way to get things going. So we've been talking about values and beliefs. And I said that we've all got a list of towards values and we've all got a list of away values. A value means an emotional state, a feeling that you want to experience on a regular basis. And the belief is the target for that feeling. What has to happen in order for you to feel that? And I hope you went through and did your towards values and your away values, because many times we find two things universally true when we do this. And this is what we do at Date with Destiny. If you want to go deep into this, buy Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. He's done the best work on this stuff of anybody by far. But here's the two things that we always find. Number one, we always find that there's conflicts between the towards values and away values. So somebody will have as their number one towards value success, but then their number one away value will be fear of rejection, that they don't want to ever feel rejected. Well, if you're going to be successful, are you going to have rejection? Or it'll be failure. Number one away value will be failure. Well, if you want to have success, but you fear failure, do people who achieve significant successes ever fear failure? No. Do they even look at it as failure? No, they look at it as learning. So you'll have conflicts like that. That'll happen to everybody, where you'll have 2 steps forward and 1 step back. The other thing that we learn is when we look at people's beliefs, they have themselves set up so that they can never feel or hardly ever feel the towards values that they want, but they can easily feel the away values. So let's say the away values are rejection, loneliness, failure. They'll have it set up so that if everything doesn't happen perfectly, then they feel that away value. And then their towards values might be love, connection, growth, success, freedom. And when you go through their beliefs, the only way they feel those things is if everything goes perfectly. So they're constantly feeling their away values, feeling like a failure, feeling rejected, feeling alone, not feeling loved, but they never feel their towards values. Then we wonder why we're depressed, and we wonder why we're upset. We wonder why we drink. We wonder why we get medications, because we're constantly not feeling the things that we want to feel. And all you got to do is change those beliefs, which is really not that hard to do, and now all of a sudden you'll feel those feelings all the time. Now, going through the process of changing the beliefs isn't all that difficult, but can you change the values? Yes, you can. So let's say we had somebody whose number one value was security. That was their towards value. And all the way down at the bottom of their value list was variety. So that was nowhere near their top. And then their number one away value was fear of physical pain. Okay? Then let's say they're in a relationship with, because this can happen, because we don't sit down when we get into our relationships and say, hey, could you give me your values in order and sequence and a list of the beliefs that support the values? The person that they're in a relationship with, their number one value is variety. And the feeling of certainty is way at the bottom. And then their number one away value is boredom. Now, are these two people going to have the same interests? No. Now let's say you took the first person whose number one towards value was security, number one away value was fear of physical pain, and at the very bottom was variety. And let's say you switched security and variety, and you made variety number one, and you put security all the way down at the bottom. Would this person be a completely different person? 100%. And can that happen? Yes, it can absolutely happen. That's what we do at Date with Destiny. the movies that become super popular are all movies where people make this shift, where they shift those values. Every great movie is a story of going from slavery to freedom. And when our main character, our catalyst, breaks free is when they change those values and change their beliefs about those values, where they finally decide to break through fear and take their chance at what it is that they're going to accomplish. I mean, every Rocky movie is the same movie. It's the same movie again and again and again, but we go and see it and we love it. Why? Because the person breaks through, changes their beliefs, changes their values. They no longer worry about the fear. They no longer worry about the failure. And they break through, and it doesn't even matter if they achieve their outcome. Most of the time in the movie they do, but they don't have to. Rocky doesn't have to win in order for us to love the movie. He lost the first movie. He lost the last movie. But we don't care. We love the outcome. Star Wars. I mean, the very first Star Wars, the very last Star Wars, same movie. I mean, even the last Star Wars, they even made fun of the fact that it's the same movie, but yet we still all go see it. Because it's that same story. Romantic comedies are the same story, where somebody finally breaks through and takes the risk on love, instead of taking the risk fighting or taking the risk of going against the dark side. It's taking the risk on a relationship. It's breaking through fear and saying yes to your value of, I do want love, and this is what it is. And so I'm going to open up my heart and take the risk and go past the rejection and see whether or not I'm going to get there. That's every romantic comedy. Why do we go to them? Because that's part of what we want to be able to do. So we can't go through and change your hierarchy in a couple of minutes in a morning. That is a more in-depth process. But you can do something that can impact your life dramatically, and that is change your beliefs about your life. What if you suddenly had a belief that everything happens for you instead of to you? You've heard me say that before. What if suddenly that became one of your beliefs about your life? Everything happens for me, not to me. What if you developed a belief that everything happens for a reason and a purpose and it serves me? What if you had a belief of, I'm not making a living, I'm designing a life? What if you had just one of those beliefs? What about if you had all three of those beliefs? How would that change your life? How would that change your day, and how would that change your life? How would you look at life differently if you had a fundamental belief of everything serves me? Everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves me. That everything happens for me, not to me. So when something happens that's not your plan, that's not the outcome that you were looking for, instead of saying to yourself, oh my God, why does this always happen to me? Your response would be, okay, everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves me, so how is this going to serve me? How would that change your life? Well, remember, all of this is about state management, right? This is all about managing your state in tough times. So when that stuff happens, you would go, okay, that question is going to lead to you looking for different things. Instead of saying, why does this happen to me? Where remember, whatever question we ask, our brain gives us an answer. So if you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain's going to give you an answer. It's going to say, well, because you're a loser, because things are never going to work out for you, blah, 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 blah. But if instead you asked, everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves me, or life is happening for me, not to me, now you ask a question of your brain, okay, how is this going to serve me? And guess what? Your brain's going to come up with more positive answers, which is going to change how you approach that situation, which is going to make you make better decisions. And as we said, people who make better decisions have a better life. So take some time to delve into this. Outside of goal setting, there's nothing more significant that you can do to dramatically impact your life than look at your values, look at the beliefs that support those values, and figure out how to not have a dirt road to happiness and a highway to failure. And instead, feel the feelings that you want to feel on a regular basis, and it's going to make you achieve even more and work even more towards those outcomes, as opposed to feel like you're fighting uphill all the time. And if you want to just instill a belief, everything is happening for me, not to me, everything is happening for a reason and a purpose, and it serves me, how do you do that? Incantations. Just say them again and say it again and again and again. Do what the military does. Say it again and again and again. And if you can do those things while you're engaging physically, morning walk, morning run, whatever, it'll grind it in even that much more and that much quicker. And as a result, those beliefs will become part of who you are, which is going to change your entire life. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm going to say hi to everyone that's on. Mr. Drehobel down in Florida. My Uncle Bill, great to see you. Valerie, great to see you too. Mr. Dakin, good morning. Carla Neiman, great to see you on this morning. Sarah Pesca, I hope you're already at work. Jamie, nice to see you this morning. Thanks for so much for stopping in. And Christina and Mary. Man, we had a lot of people saying hi. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Drop in the box any comments that you got. I'd be happy to answer questions, talk about topics that you want to talk about, or just respond to the comments that you bring in as to what we can do and how we can do this better. I am going to go back to doing it more early in the morning. Seems like that's a little bit more of a vote, although I do like doing it about this time because I get more of you live. Thanks so much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.